glass of whiskey is never just a glass of whiskey. It carries centuries of history, revolution, smuggling, persecution, music, art, and destruction. From medieval monasteries to Old West saloons, from mobsters during Prohibition to rock and roll legends who took it as creative fuel. Whiskey was loved by kings and outlaws. It was banned, venerated, stolen, counterfeited, and celebrated in immortal songs. But how did this drink come to be? How did it become such a powerful symbol? And what's the first song in history to mention it? Turn up the sound, grab a glass, and join us on this mind-bending journey through the history of whiskey. The word whiskey comes from the Gaelic Wisi Beatha, meaning water of life. But before becoming the spirit we know, whiskey was born as an experiment by medieval monks. Around the 15th century, Irish and Scottish monks perfected the art of distillation, which they learned during travels to the Middle East, where alchemists had already been distilling perfumes and medicines. But it didn't take long for them to realize that, instead of medicine, they could create something much more interesting. The first historical record of whiskey dates back to 1494, when Scottish monks were given a large amount of barley to produce aqua vitae. Soon, the spirit ceased to be a monastic secret and ended up in the hands of the people. With that, it became part of the identity of entire nations. In Scotland and Ireland, whiskey became a ceremonial drink, present at weddings and peace treaty celebrations. However, like everything that gains popularity, it soon caught the attention of the authorities. In the following centuries, whiskey became part of Scottish and Irish culture, but also became a target of the government. In 1644, the Scottish Parliament imposed a tax on whiskey. That was enough to start an era of smuggling and illegal distillation. In the 18th century, the King of England tried to control whiskey production, but the Scots didn't take kindly to the idea. Illegal distillers fled to the Highlands and made whiskey hidden in the mountains. Illegal distillers developed techniques to deceive inspectors. They aged the drink in used barrels so it would acquire color and flavor, giving rise to the whiskey we know today. Interestingly, this phase of persecution inspired one of the first whiskey songs, Whiskey in the Jar, a traditional Irish ballad about an outlaw who robs an army captain and ends up betrayed by his own lover. The song has crossed centuries and was recorded by artists like Thin Lizzy and Metallica. Another legendary song from the time is Streams of Whiskey by the Pogues, which perfectly captures the bohemian spirit of the drink and its connection to Irish culture. As whiskey became clandestine in Europe, it crossed the ocean to the New World. When the Scots and Irish arrived in America, they brought their love of distillation. It was in Kentucky that bourbon was born, a whiskey variation made from corn and aged in charred oak barrels. In the Old West, whiskey was practically currency. Cowboys and gunfighters drank in saloons before deadly duels. With the arrival of the 20th century came Prohibition from 1920 to 1933, which banned the production and consumption of alcoholic beverages. This fueled smuggling and gave birth to gangsters like Al Capone, who dominated the illicit alcohol trade. Speakeasies, secret bars where people illegally drank, became centers of music and culture. It was in this environment that jazz and modern blues were born. Billie Holiday immortalized this era with Riffin' the Scotch, a song that blends jazz and blues, evoking the atmosphere of a time when every sip of whiskey tasted like rebellion. Whiskey also appeared in the psychedelic rock of the 60s. In Alabama song, Whiskey Bar, by The Doors, Jim Morrison sings about the desperate search for a bar that serves the drink. The song, originally a piece by Bertolt Brecht, became an anthem of bohemia and hedonism of the time. Whiskey has crossed centuries and continents, always as a symbol of rebellion and freedom. And if you want to learn more about the connection between whiskey and music, stay tuned, because soon we'll have a special video about the Rolling Stones' visit to Brazil and the creation of Sympathy for the Devil. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment your favorite whiskey song. Because music never stops aging like a good whiskey. Cheers.